Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name's Bianca. I'm 25 from Cronulla in Sydney, New South Wales. I have Lyme disease, so that's why I've started this Instagram and YouTube channel to help others that are suffering as well. I suffer from Lyme disease regardless of how healthy I may seem to you. I am just an average looking Joe, but unfortunately life hasn't been so 1, 2, 3 for me. About 2 years ago I started to get symptoms of really bad fatigue and joint pain, followed with dizziness and nausea, really severe depression, things that just made me do things that just made me think that I was absolutely crazy. I saw doctor after doctor after doctor, only to be told that, you know, it's possibly an old infection that's become active, like glandular fever, or, you know, I have depression, I have fibromyalgia, I have chronic fatigue, anything that they could throw at me without really looking into what I had. I mean, I was the one that had to ask for a blood test in the first place, even though once I had all those blood tests done, everything was perfect. And I asked, actually the other day, I went to my doctor and I asked them for a printout of my entire history, and it was just insane the amount of times I complained about the same thing. And he wrote on there that, you know, possible, on my blood test, possible fibromyalgia. Sorry, that's just a train in the background. I live on a really, really annoying spot. Just 1 moment. Yeah, so he put possible fibromyalgia and possible chronic fatigue. And anyway, I went through a really tough 2 years of my life where I lost a lot of friends, and even family found it hard to understand me. I had some really lonely times in my life, and that's why I decided to make this Instagram, just in order to see if I could help anyone else out there. As I go along with these videos, I will start to share my journey of my diagnosis and what I've done to get to this stage. I mean, I can tell you today, as of the 30th of January 2019, that I'm about 90% better. I mean, I still yesterday had a really bad depressive episode, and I still do get joint pain, and I still wake up every morning feeling like I have a hangover. But I do have a few more things that I need to do in order to get myself just over that line, basically. And yeah, so I just wanted to slowly start to introduce myself and go from there, really. Another thing I must go into in my first video, I will eventually go through my diagnosis a little bit more with you guys, obviously, like I said, in videos to come. However, I must let you know that prior to my diagnosis, I went to hospital because I did actually get some funny blood tests, which I forgot to mention before. Sorry, just trains there. I did, however, get some funny blood tests, some liver tests that came up incredibly high for someone my age, someone that, you know, would only drink on the weekends with their friends. You know, I wasn't a big drinker or anything insane. Like, what my liver was about 800 to 1,000 ALT, and I was just so confused. I wasn't taking any painkillers, I wasn't doing anything out of the ordinary, and they told me I had a liver that of an alcoholic, and I just thought, what the hell is going on? I knew something was going on, but I didn't know what it was. And there's been multiple trips to the hospital that I'd have to go into, but this one was just the most stand out. I thought I'd mention in my first video, where I went to the hospital with this high liver. My GP called me and said, look, I've called the hospital and I've let them know you're coming in. I think you should go immediately because your ALT and AST, or whatever it's called, your liver enzymes, are incredibly high. That could be why you're feeling so sick. Went into hospital. I was there for about 2 weeks over the Christmas period, I think 2017, and they took 2 biopsies of my liver. Both biopsies, they told me, they had infectious disease people come in, they had, every expert under the sun, and they just put it down to an unknown infection. An unknown infection. Wow, how funny is that? If only they looked, and the way they would have had to look through it, I don't understand how they do it, and I can't really comment. Sorry, cars coming past now. I can't really comment on what they did, but the way they would have had to go through this thing, I'm sure they would have had to realise that there was some type of spirochete or something in there, which another thing I'll go into is all the forms of Lyme and how hard it is to get rid of. I will go into that, I promise, guys. I just need to start off slowly because my story extends through years, and it does go quite extent, and it is still ongoing. However, so unknown infection, that's where my story began. Thank God for a friend of mine. I eventually found out and looked into things, and I will go into how I found out and that kind of thing in my next few videos. However, I hope you enjoyed this video and you know a little bit about me. I'm sorry it's taking me so long to show my face. Lyme disease in Australia is so controversial, and it is a topic that I kept secret from friends, family, a lot of people for many years because I didn't quite know how to explain it to them. It's such a extensive disease. It goes beyond anything else. It's not like cancer. Like, people know when you have cancer and it spreads, and people don't really understand it, but they know the severity of it. With Lyme disease, I mean, you have good and bad days. Some days I can jump out of bed and I'm okay, and other days I'm deliberated, I am disabled, I can't move, and I still look like this. I don't look like a sick person. I mean, I've got a bit of bad skin and all these other funny things going on, but it's mostly inside. It's mostly my digestive system, and it's mostly joint pain and a lot of brain symptoms and a lot of neurological symptoms that people can't see. And that's been the most deliberating out of all. Without going into it too far, that's who I am. That's what I've kind of been through in a nutshell, and there's plenty more to come. And just let me know if there's anything you want me to talk about, because I can easily skip things, as all us Lyme sufferers know, and the families of those with Lyme, they know it's not just an easy story. They know you had to travel to get better, and they know that it didn't just happen overnight, and they know that their friends and family don't understand. For me, I came from an era of social media, and everyone's life was so perfect, and everyone just was doing so well on social media. And even myself, I have a modeling background, and I was doing really well in real estate, and certain things led to certain things, and I had a car accident, things led to things, and eventually got really sick, and I just ended up in this position. And without going into my whole life, that's just a nutshell of kind of what's gone on with me. I mean, it hasn't been easy, and I'm sure for many of you, you're going through the same thing, and I just want to be someone you can relate to and someone you can get advice from. And anyway, one other topic I just want to touch before I say goodbye is to talk about how much pain it causes for those around you who don't understand. And it's a big thing for those with Lyme. It's just something I just had to quickly mention. I will do a whole video on it, because for me, I've lost so many friends. They say whatever they say and whatever they think of me, but they don't know how my battle's been. And just remember that I'm sure we've all got at least one person, and if we don't, you always have other ways of getting help. There is a Lyme website, which I will link below, which can find you a doctor nearby. There's also some other support groups which do offer some finance and things like that for those with Lyme. But just remember that everyone in this position, it's really hard. Like, I have so many young friends that just think life's a party. Life's such a party that, just because I couldn't make it to that event, or just because I didn't call them every day, that for some reason I had something better to do. And if that's who those people are, then you just don't need them in your life. There's so many beautiful other things to look into. Human connection is amazing, and we all need it. But if somebody is not giving you 100%, and if they just think, or they're not willing to ask you how you are, they've just made an assumption about you, then they're just not worth it. It's simple as that. Allow them to have this imagination about who they think you are, or something they saw you go through, or Lyme is not like a cold. It's not a cold. The cells of Lyme, the way that they can lodge into your brain and cause rage and depression, are just something I can't wait to do a video on. And I also will back it up with the science that's been done, because there's a lot of ignorance for it all. And anyway, I'm going off topic again. I just wanted to say that there is other ways to get help. There also is something called DNRS for those with Lyme. I've never tried it. I have a really nice follower who is actually posting me his copy. Thank you so much to that lovely follower of mine, who's offered to post it to me, because it is quite an expensive task. But I'm sure if you do follow other Lyme websites, this Lyme family, everyone's so lovely and helpful. There could always be someone that's willing to help. But yeah, anyway, keep positive. I'm always here on my DM to help those who need me. I have been for the last 2 years. I mean, I've never told who I am or put my face on, because I'm just not for people feeling sorry for me. I don't need the people that left my life, because I wasn't there to just feel sorry for me now. I chose to get rid of the anger that I had for this happening and turn it into good, and try and help as many people going through the same thing as I can, and to forget those whose life is really easy and normal for them, and those who don't have consideration, they're just not worth it. Not everyone's a caring person, and if they haven't gone through it, they're not going to understand. It doesn't make them a bad person. It's just, it's not an easy thing to understand, and I totally get it. And you do have to find peace within that and see where they're coming from. Hopefully, once we do spread enough awareness for Lyme, they will slowly start to come around, and that's what we need to live for. We don't need to fight to prove that we're not well. We don't need to fight for that. We know how we feel, and we know we're sick, and we need to use that power to help each other and forget those who make us feel bad for feeling bad. And that's about it. So follow me on Lyme Down Under on my Instagram. DM me. I'm happy to get back to you as much as I can. I've also got an email, which is limedownunder@outlook.com. And that's all I have to really say today, guys. I hope I may have made it a little bit easier now that you know who I am and who you're watching on Instagram. And I just hope you all have a positive, beautiful, loving day. And just remember to keep strong. Life's still here, and every chance you have to be happy, be happy. And just remember, you've got to have your downs to have your ups. God bless you.